but no oven, no microwave, nothing. So you kind of have to cook everything on the hob.
Yeah.
And I forgot the rice. I accidentally bought pudding rice. But I honestly just grabbed the first thing and I was like, oh, this must be white rice, and it wasn't.
Oh no.
So we didn't have any rice.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Hello and welcome to the SheerLuxe Team podcast with me, Heather Steele. Today I'm joined by Sherri Andrew, Emma Bigger and India Simi. How are you guys?
Good. How are you?
Good.
We're all just saying how blooming cold it is
freezing.
today.
Oh, it is.
So many layers.
I was going to say, Emma, can you just quickly talk us through all your layers?
Well,
Because I
I've
feel like you're
got
nailing it.
a thermal vest on, then a normal vest, then a polo neck, and then a jumper. And underneath here, I've got my son's football thermal leggings, which is not very chic, but it is very practical.
You're making it look chic.
I was going to say,
yeah.
you'd never
And then I've got
guess.
cashmere socks on as well.
Oh,
Oh
nice.
my gosh, all the layers.
You've nailed it.
Layers.
And you're
I'm
still feeling...
freezing.
you're still
Yeah, I'm
cold.
still freezing.
Yeah, one of those January mornings. Anyway, we'll
It is
warm up.
beautiful though, which
It
is,
is.
Yeah.
a plus.
Sunny, frosty.
Yeah,
we can
It
handle
is. This is
that.
my favourite type of weather ever. Everyone's like, oh, it's too cold. I'm like, no, if I could just live in this.
Really?
Forever. Yeah, maybe have
It's
like
a
1 week
little
of
bit
summer.
too cold. I like the
frosty.
sunshine and the cold, but this is just a bit too much.
Definitely. I went on a walk on the common this morning and it is like beyond beautiful, you know, and all the plants are like have like a layer of frost. It did look amazing.
Like
But
crunchy flooring
yeah,
in a nice way.
exactly.
So nice.
1 or 2 degrees warmer for me, I
Yeah.
think. But no,
Same.
good
Agreed.
excuse to wear all our knitwear. Sherri, do you get anything good at the weekend?
At the weekend, yeah, I went on a little staycation, and we went to this place called Unplugged, and they have it was just one cabin, and now they have various cabins over different woods in East Sussex and Hampshire, etc. So we went to the one in Sussex. It's like an hour and a bit from London, and it's like a digital detox. So the idea is that you go, you lock your phone in a box, and they supply you with like a Nokia, like 500, whatever they were called back in the day. So you can contact people if you need to. And there's I guess it's very rustic. So everything's about slow living. There was a cassette player with some
Amazing.
tapes, which took
Oh
me
my
back.
gosh.
I know it had Tina Turner. I was
I was
like,
going
this
to
is
say, yeah,
great.
what sort of music had they provided you with?
So the Tina Turner, I can't remember what the album's called, one of like her classics, her best hits. And then there was a Police one,
Oh,
the Police, and Madonna. I was like, this is very on
Love it.
brand.
Very on brand.
So yeah, but I actually forgot I was like, how do you rewind it? I was like, oh, you just like put it back to front, side 1, side 2.
Yes.
So yeah, it was like back to basics. It felt very nostalgic. And then we watched like the sunrise in the morning, the sunset, went on like a wintry walk. It was really lovely.
No alarm clocks or anything?
No alarm clocks, but because it was quite bright, you kind of wake up
Yeah.
with like the sun.
How did you feel? I'm so intrigued.
I felt... Well, I didn't actually lock my phone away.
Okay.
But there was no signal, so it kind of wasn't
Yeah.
digital. I just thought, just in case, I
Yeah.
don't want to like have an emergency.
And then you're fumbling with a lock.
Yeah, exactly. And then also it was my nephew's birthday yesterday, so I had to make sure I did my auntie duties and say her birthday. But at the end, we felt really good and like
Amazing.
yeah, just really rested. And it is so important, I think, to have time, even if you're not having time with your phone, just of like Instagram, TikTok, whatever, or just like reading the news.
Yeah.
I find having a good break from that
Yeah.
really
Sounds amazing.
makes a difference.
I've heard
Amazing.
that they give you like a map and a compass and stuff.
do.
Did you do that?
We actually didn't. We didn't go that far, to be fair. But if we were going to go for like an hour walk, but I was like, I don't know how to use a
I
map.
know. I was thinking that.
Yeah, I definitely did it in school, but I wouldn't be. I don't think I could be trusted with a compass these days.
What do
No.
you do for food and drink?
So you have to bring everything with you.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yes, which was really funny because I had one thing to bring, which was some rice because we had a cat stew on the Friday.
So sorry, it's got like stoves and a bit of a like sort of hob setup. type
Yeah,
thing.
exactly. It's got 2 stoves, but no oven, no microwave, nothing. So you kind of have to cook everything on the hob.
Yeah.
And I forgot the rice. I accidentally bought pudding rice. But I honestly just grabbed the first thing and I was like, oh, this must be white rice, and it wasn't.
Oh no.
So
really
we didn't have any
gloopy.
rice. Yeah, my boyfriend was not best pleased. But yeah, it's just like very rustic.
It's kind of like camping, but
Yeah, like one
Exactly.
level
Yeah.
up, maybe.
yeah.
Exactly. But having a bed, that's like the main thing I make
Yeah.
when you go camping.
Yeah.
Would you recommend?
I would 100% recommend. It's so nice. I think we did it for 2 nights, but the retreats you're supposed to do it for 3 nights. So you really like immerse yourself and switch off and get into
I feel
nature.
quite good at doing your little weekends
Yeah,
She is.
Yeah, I like it. I feel like there's so much of the UK to explore, and I've only just scratched the surface. I'm on like a mission to go to like corners that I haven't been to.
Yeah.
So that was really nice.
That sounds lovely.
Love it.
Emma, did you get up to anything fun?
I had quite a slow weekend. Like went to the farmers market and just mooched around my local area. What else did I do? Made a roast on Sunday.
What's your roast meat of choice?
Chicken.
Yeah.
Nice. Definitely chicken. And I spent a lot of time sitting by the fire because it's cold. Like having a nice walk and then coming back and just like sitting by the fire.
India, I want to ask you about
Yes.
your epic ski trip that I
did
could
go
see
skiing,
you were
which
on.
was
It looked
very
amazing.
dreamy. I was very lucky. Went on a press trip. There's a group of hotels called the Baumier Group, and you guys probably know of the Hotel Les Roches Rouges, which is on like the French Riviera. And they are a group of hotels across France. So I've been to a few in Provence, but then they also have some hotels in the mountains, and a couple of them are next door to each other in Val Thorens. I went to one called Le Fitzroy, which is kind of the more grown-up one. Then they have a sister hotel next door called Le Val Thorens. And that I would say is if I was just like going by myself with my other half, I'd probably go there. But if I was recommending to like families or parents, then Le Fitzroy is like a little bit more sophisticated. And they're both ski in, ski out. Like it's proper luxury with a ski shop on site, like a boot room, pool, spa, all the amazing things. So it was a wonderful, wonderful week. I don't think I've experienced skiing in that way because mainly just been on uni ski trips, which were quite different.
I was going to say, are you a skier?
So I've skied probably about 6 or 7 times before. Been with my in-laws, been on a uni trip, and when I learned to ski like in my teenage years, but I hadn't actually been since 2016, I don't think. And so I was a bit worried how good I would be, etc., how many times I fall over. But I absolutely loved it. And I think it kind of gave me the skiing bug again. So now I'm just plotting my next trip. Yeah, I was literally just like, in my head, I thought, maybe I'm a beginner. Like, maybe I should go with the beginners and have a lesson. But actually, it was like riding a bike. And I was, straight down the mountain. Didn't fall over once, which I was very proud of myself.
That's really
I can't
impressive.
work out whether that means I wasn't trying hard enough or whether I'm really good at skiing.
I think
One of the two.
latter.
Let's go for the latter.
So it was absolute heaven. And I highly recommend Val Thorens as a resort because it's got so many amazing, really wide runs. So it's great if you maybe haven't been for a while or haven't been at all. There were lots of beginners in our group as well, and they had some lessons, and I would definitely recommend the hotels. Like, they were dreamy, and being, waking up to the slopes is just absolute heaven. I don't think there's anywhere that you can't, like, skiing on a blue day, on a blue sky day, there's just nothing like it.
I've never been.
It's
so
like
nice.
another world. I hadn't been probably till I was like 13, 14, and I'd forgotten how amazing it is. And the first 2 days that we skied, it was like proper white out, couldn't see anything. I was just like, okay, icy, snowy, all the things that you don't want. And I was covered in snow. And then the sun came out and it just transforms it. Like, it's absolutely unbelievable. And I always think when you look, when you're at the bottom of a mountain looking up, you're like, how is it possible? There's a whole world up there. And then when you do actually go to a ski resort, it is quite something. So didn't want to leave at all.
I bet.
And
I'm so lucky with the snow because it's been in the news
I know,
so much. and there isn't
exactly.
Any snow, so that
Well,
looks like it's
actually,
changed.
one of the women that I was with, she had literally been in the same resort like 3 weeks before when there'd been basically no snow. Val Thorens, I think it's actually the highest resort in Europe. So if there's not snow there, like, there's probably not snow anywhere. But she'd been there a few weeks before and had to be very selective about which runs they did. Whereas we had the opposite problem. Like, some runs were even closed because it was so snowy.
Oh, wow.
So yeah, it was absolute heaven. And
so
now I'm
nice.
just desperate to go again. So I'm like, when can I go? Who can I go with, etc.
You can take me and teach me because I'm such
I would
a beginner.
happily do that. So yeah, it was lovely. And then I was back by the weekend and I actually did a florist course on Saturday
Whereabouts?
at McQueen's.
Oh, yeah.
So they
Is it
do.
East London?
They're moving to East London,
yeah.
but this was actually in their Mayfair location. But I think moving forwards, all of their courses will be in East London. And we spent the morning doing like hand-tied bouquets, learning that kind of spiraling technique. And then the afternoon we did a vase arrangement. So it was actually a birthday present a friend got for me, which I highly recommend as a gift.
That's a really good
Yeah,
gift.
it was such a good present. And now I've got lovely bouquets in my house, which is great. So
I've done one of those before, I think probably about 5 years ago.
Yeah.
It's much harder than it looks.
Yeah,
like,
I
I'd never
know.
think I'd be good at it. You know?
Definitely.
Not saying that florists aren't talented, but it's way harder.
Yes, it was like a
than it looks.
proper 8-hour long
Yeah.
day course, like a few hours in the morning to do the hand-tied bouquet and then a lunch break, and then we had another few hours for the vases. But learnt loads, lots of florist tips. I think I actually came on the show here a few years ago when Ronnie Colby was on.
nice.
And I remember learning so much from him. So now I feel like I'm just building to my floristry knowledge, basically.
Yeah, but the flat's looking gorgeous.
I mean, it's very abundant with flowers.
Lovely.
How was your
wholesome.
weekend?
Oh, it was really good actually. I don't always say that, but no, I had a 10 out of 10 weekend. So my parents came to stay, which was really nice. Had a very mad clean on Thursday night till the late hours. But no, they arrived. We had a really nice time. But no, the main reason they came down is because last year I bought them both tickets to go to the ABBA Voyager.
I'm going to that next week.
So fun.
Well, I'm not going to say everything about it anyway because they're very much like don't say what happens or anything. And I'd seen it was sort of 5-star reviews everywhere, but I hadn't actually read any of the reviews because I just wanted to be as surprised as possible. But in case anyone doesn't know, I mean, everyone should do because it's been hugely publicised, but the members of ABBA basically spent 5 weeks in these amazing suits to create avatars of themselves, and it's like seeing a live performance of them, their sort of 70s selves. And it's sort of, projected onto a stage with this absolutely incredible technology that just makes it look and feel as though you're watching a live
does it actually
performance.
feel
It does
real?
actually, it does. And they've got a live band playing with them as well. So it's got that
that's
sort of
cool.
light. It's not like someone's just pressed play on a recording.
Did you dress up in kind of ABBA vibe?
I didn't actually, and then as soon as I was there, I was like, oh, I should have
Okay.
There were lots of
I'll do
sequins,
that.
so yeah, don't worry, you definitely won't look silly if you've made an effort on that front. But no, yeah, so it's me, mum, dad, and sister, which was really nice. Just the 4 of us doing something, just reminded me of like car journeys of my youth with ABBA blasting out. But yeah, they really good set list. My favourite song was on first, which I didn't think they'd play, so I was happy from the off. And yeah, they basically built the entire arena, so it's just perfect. It doesn't matter where you're sitting, you can see really well. They've just really thought about absolutely everything. And yeah, I don't want to give too much away, but I think if anyone has got tickets, you're not going to be disappointed.
Amazing.
And I think they keep releasing more and more tickets.
When does that go on till? Or is it
They
just
haven't actually
on
said. I
running?
think they basically seem to sort of release about 3 months worth of shows sort of in stages. So I think they've just released some for like July onwards.
I feel like it's genius because they don't have to put any extra work in.
That's the thing, it's all
so
done.
true.
It's on twice a day. We went to the matinee at
Oh,
3
my
o'clock.
goodness.
It was done by 4:30. It's by Stratford, so yeah, really easy to get to. But yeah, we had a
Amazing.
really fun day.
Love
yeah,
that.
went to Brasserie Zadell afterwards for dinner, which
Oh,
was amazing.
so nice. What did you have?
I always have the same things. I still think it's like the best value meal in London. The prefix menu, it's
Oh, yeah.
$15.95 for 2 courses. Yeah, the carrot râpé, which is like the nice sort of salad with lots of veggie stuff before you then move on to the steak haché, which is basically a burger with peppercorn
Amazing.
sauce and chips. So,
So good.
yeah, I think value for money wise, it's good. And my parents hadn't been before, and I think they're like, oh, we haven't dressed up properly. I'm like, you don't have to. It just looks really fancy and nice. And
Yeah.
it's
Love
actually
that.
very chilled and relaxed. So that was good. And then yesterday, my dad helped me with some DIY, which was great. We
good
bought
old dad.
some cafe curtains for the kitchen and bathroom from East London Cloth Company, and they arrived
so
in
nice.
December. But you have to like saw the ends off and all of that. And I was like, I'm just going to wait till Dad comes. And yeah, he put them up in about a quarter of the time it would have taken me in my other half to attempt it. And they
I
look
feel like
great.
that sort of thing is so transformational. I love a nice window treatment.
Yes, exactly. Like we definitely wanted. You wanted the light to come in, but you just wanted a little bit more
Yeah.
privacy. And it
Are they
has
like
definitely.
Frenchy
Yeah,
style?
so like you have to choose which sort of linen you want, whether you want it to be quite thin or thick. So we've obviously gone thicker in the bathroom and then quite thin in the kitchen. But
Have you been to the shop?
I
really want to
haven't.
go
I
there.
really want to go, but no, I did it all online, and yeah, it was really easy. Would highly recommend. But even
Amazing.
yeah, they left at 6 p.m. yesterday, and all evening I just kept going in and putting the light back on in the kitchen to look like, oh, doesn't it look great? So yeah, no, a good weekend of balance of DIY and dancing to ABBA. So yeah, it was great.
Amazing.
Sounds so fun. Very on brand, Heather.
There we go. Have any of you seen any good TV shows or read any good books recently, Emma?
I haven't actually watched that much recently. I did listen to a really lovely podcast, Desert Island Discs with Edward Enninful. He just talked so eloquently about his childhood and about him coming into the fashion industry, and it was just such a nice thing to listen to and really interesting as well. Like, he was fashion director at 18, and he talks about all the, the criticisms that he faced, and it was just really a nice, good interview. So I definitely recommend that.
A good mix between sort of like business and personal.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, perfect. And India, how about you?
I feel like I'm immersed in a kind of royal bubble, watching The Crown and reading Prince Harry's book, which I won't go into. I feel like it's been extensively discussed. But I'm, approaching the royal family from all angles at the moment. I've actually been doing, I feel like you're going to like this, Sherri, a kind of 21-day meditation challenge thing.
Ooh, that sounds nice.
So I do meditate daily anyway, but there's a guy called Deepak Chopra. Have you heard of him?
Oh, yes.
He's big in the spiritual world, and he's got this 21 days of abundance meditation challenge.
Oh my goodness, I did this
Have you done
in
it?
the first lockdown.
Great.
Yeah, it's so good, isn't it?
I've done it
when you
before.
said
I was like, this has got
go.
Sherri written all over it. I've done it before, and I'm a week in, so got another 2 weeks to go. And
what does
it's
it involve?
It's on Spotify. You can just search for Deepak Chopra 21 Days of Abundance. And every day it's just a 15-minute meditation. It's about 7 minutes of him just talking to you about the concept of abundance and, bringing positive energy into your life, essentially. And then the final 7 minutes is you just repeating a Sanskrit mantra in your head, which he gives you. And it's just very relaxing and uplifting. It's a very kind of entry-level way to get into meditation, I would say, and I'm just doing it on top of meditation that I do anyway, so I think that you can do that too. I think it's just a nice way to frame the start of the year in a positive light, and I don't think I reached the end of it last time, so I'm trying to actually do that. It's quite nice to get a little group together. I'm doing it with a friend, so we're like holding each other accountable. I think my mum, my sister and I did it last time, but it's very accessible, and I think you can listen to it on YouTube as well if you don't have Spotify. There are tasks that go alongside every day. I'm not actually doing those.
I was going to say, I think that might be where I'd accidentally start filtering out
definitely. But 15 minutes a day, I feel like that's doable. I think it's nice to do it in the morning because then you kind of remember it throughout the day. He gives you like a little mantra, like a positive mantra for each day, which I've actually just been jotting down and putting as my phone background so that I keep thinking about it, which is quite nice. I was like, sorry, James, you're out of the phone background. Positive mantras are coming in. And then the tasks, I think you can find them online, but I don't think it's wholly necessary to do them. But it's just a nice way to attract abundance, whether that's of opportunities or happiness or whatever it may be. And I think it just helps to frame the day in a different way. I completely forgot to do it the other day, and I did it at night, like when I was falling asleep, and I think I was on day 4 or something, and I woke up and I was on day 7 and I was like, oh crap. So maybe don't do that, or put a sleep timer on or something if you're doing it as you go to sleep. But it's quite nice just to start listening to it like as you're doing your makeup or even on the tube, and then just doing the meditation as well.
Amazing. How did you find it, Sherri, when you did it?
Oh, this would have been nearly 3 years ago now. No, I remember it being really just like positive energy, and I think the idea of abundance, I was like, what is this? What does it even mean? Because you think of like material wealth, but I guess his teaching is more like abundance in the small things like food or like the sunshine, like the little things. It's so nice, isn't it?
Yeah,
and
it's very soothing.
Yeah, I feel on TikTok especially, there's lots of like the law of attraction and like positive energy.
Yeah, totally.
I think it's like trending at the minute. So that's, such a nice thing to do in January as well.
Yeah, it is good. Only a weekend, so hopefully I can keep up the next 2 weeks.
We'll check in next time we see you.
Yes, I'll be radiating abundant energy.
Sherri, how about you? I know you were detoxing this weekend, so
I was, but I did do some reading. And I finished a really good book called Hair House by Sally Hinchcliffe, which came out last year, but I wanted to wait until winter to read it. It's a very like wintry book. It's set in Scotland near the Highlands, and they get snowed in. So it's about a woman, and she has left her job as a teacher under mysterious circumstances, and she wants a completely refresh from her old life, and she moves from London to Scotland into this very remote village, and there's only about 4 families that are living there, and she ends up becoming friends with this family, and there's some strange things going on with them without revealing too much, but it's a little bit superstitious, and they're all very much believing about witchcraft and old traditions. And so yeah, it's about her and the family, how their stories are intertwined, and then strange things are happening in the village, and she has to kind of find out what's going on. And yeah, it's quite spooky actually.
Is it scary? I imagine being in a cabin in the middle of nowhere reading this is quite stressful.
I did read it in the daytime. For that reason, I'm so easily spooked. Honestly.
Not on your own.
Yeah, I can't even watch Harry Potter. I'm like, this is too
me
scary.
neither.
It's not scary. I think it's a little bit more like lots of like uncanniness and eerie, exactly, a little bit like gothic, you like that kind of genre.
Yeah.
But I guess the thing that I really liked was just like the imagery and the landscape, and it really has made me want to go to Scotland and like,
Love
or like the
that.
Lake District, somewhere really like remote.
Is it quite a page turner? Is it like a thriller?
You know what? I would say in part, if you're like into like witchcraft or like traditions, that superstitions, I think you'll find it really interesting. And yeah, it's very creepy in part. So I think it was kind of like more like a slow burn, but when you get to the end, you're like, oh my gosh. So yeah, I really recommend it.
So we've got to the part of the podcast where we've gone through the papers and we've all picked a couple of articles that we really enjoyed reading. Sherri, you've got a really good one for us this week.
Yeah, this is actually exciting. So a middle-aged Love Island is on the cards. Here's a sneak preview. Yeah, so it hasn't been confirmed, but I think it's in the works.
I think it's definitely in the pipeline.
I love it.
There's been talks with ITV and
Exactly.
Yeah.
So this was in yesterday's Telegraph in Bryony Gordon's column. And I remember Davina McCall went on to Stephen Bartlett's podcast, and she was
of that.
Yeah, so she was saying, I want to pitch a middle-aged Love Island to ITV and I have to be the presenter. And you can see like, oh yes, of course Davina has to do that.
Yeah.
So yeah, apparently it's going to be called The Romance Retreat. And it will be a very similar concept to, I guess, today's Love Island, but it will be people in midlife and going perhaps divorced or wanting to, get back on the horse, so to
I'm
speak.
quite surprised that hasn't happened already.
know.
Like,
I do feel
seems
like
like
TV
an
is so
obvious next
skewed.
step.
Yeah, I feel like TV's always like favouring younger people, like with the X Factor, like
definitely.
over 35s or
No,
whatever.
it's over 25.
Oh
my
Yeah.
god, stop.
It's hilarious when you look now, you're like the ancient over 25.
You're like,
It's
you don't want
what?
that group.
Yeah. I never wanted them.
So young.
But no, you're right. So I don't know. I haven't seen the Love Island Wins one that's on at the moment. I'm just not going to
I'm
get
not
sucked
either.
into that right now. But I think, if there was one with slightly older people on who've all got this wealth of experience and age and, a lifetime of sort of,
I feel like they'd
knowing
maybe be doing it
themselves.
less just for the fame and
Definitely.
partnerships, etc. And I feel like it's nice just to give everyone hope.
Definitely. I also think one of my main gripes with Love Island right now, I'm not watching the winter season, I think it just feels a bit out of season for me, is that it's like some of them, especially the men in particular, just come across as very juvenile, immature. Like some of them are just like 19, 20, which is so young.
Yeah, of course.
So I would be very interested to see like a 45-year-old Sandra from Bolton, perhaps, come on, and some of them would be quite scandalous, I'm sure. You'd still get like, all the drama and all like the
personalities,
gossip.
yeah.
Exactly. But
I think with the younger version, I think they're all so similar. So I think like age might give it more of a variety, because I just think
Definitely.
year after year,
definitely.
season after season, it's the same.
And they haven't had like
People.
careers or
Yeah.
anything. Like they're trying to get careers from it
Yeah.
rather than already being established.
so true.
Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting.
Definitely, like people with children already. Like, I don't know if we've ever had that on Love Island, if there's been a parent on before, a young
I
parent.
think
on.
there
for a
has
while.
been
Has there?
like once, but it wasn't really talked
Yeah,
about,
yeah.
or it was kind of like
They had a young child.
Yeah.
Not like I've got years as a parent.
Exactly,
vibe.
I just find that fascinating. And also in terms of, obviously Love Island often gets criticised for everyone being super slim and toned and, looking a certain way.
Yeah.
So it might be interesting to see just some more normal looking
people.
people
Yeah,
on there. I
no,
mean, I'm sure they'll
definitely.
all still be gorgeous and amazing looking.
It's nearly there. I wouldn't be surprised if they announced it in a press release very soon. So yeah, exciting.
And we're in India, will be good at this. So there was a piece in the FT this weekend, how to crack the new workwear code. And it's like, our lifestyles have changed over the past 2 years, but our wardrobes are still catching up. So I was wondering if you guys had any advice for our listeners and viewers about you know, dressing for the office, dressing for workwear these days where, you know, you might be doing a bit of hybrid working or, you know, you still want to look smart and everything. But, you know, how do we do that in 2023?
Well, I was reading something about how workwear has, since the lockdown, has even gone up a level. So people are dressing up even more for the office and trying to be, you know, portray their kind of role and power through their outfits. So I think maybe there is a bit of a kind of more relaxed kind of period, but now it's kind of back to power dressing again, like 80s style.
Do you agree, India?
Yeah, I think people definitely are opting for more comfort, maybe, whether that's like their choice of shoes or like the fit of their outfits. I think if I was working in a kind of corporate office environment, I would obviously still want to dress smart, but I'd probably make it a little bit cooler and maybe slouchier, oversized silhouettes, that kind of thing. And I guess bring in some more of those pieces that I would actually be wearing at home. Polly actually did a wonderful video. Did you guys see that? She did like I think it was like 3 different workwear looks on her Instagram. I thought that had some great inspo. And I think this time of year in particular, it's very chic to layer. So like sleeveless vest jumpers, like oversized shirts. I feel like that kind of Frankie shop aesthetic is perfect. Like, I mean, I'm wearing an oversized Frankie shop blazer today.
I was going to say, that would
but there's like with a matching suit. Yeah, exactly.
workplaces.
Exactly. And I think maybe you can just get away with being a bit more fashion with your workwear choices.
I think there's definitely more of a fashion slant on things.
I do think footwear is always really difficult in like a proper corporate environment.
Have you got any advice on that?
I would probably do the like either literally wear trainers and then change at the office, or I would just probably go for boots these days, or like really nice loafers.
Or a chunky loafer. I think that's a really good in between.
I completely agree.
So it's
really
not
cool.
as relaxed as a trainer, but it's still flat and it's still comfy.
Yeah,
you can get the tube in it and you don't have to change it.
100%.
And you can wear those with trousers or a dress.
Yeah,
skirt,
definitely. And I think
style it right.
styling more masculine pieces now rather than just wearing like those kind of suit dresses. Going for a more slouchy suit plus some loafers, I think you can get away with, and it looks really cool.
How about jewellery? Because you're both wearing quite a lot of nice layered jewellery. Do you think that's something you can do to sort of jazz up a corporate
I think you can.
outfit?
Yeah, I mean, it obviously depends where you work and your industry and all that, but I do think layering of jewellery just adds a little thing to kind of elevates your workwear, makes it a bit cooler.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And where do you both stand on colour as well for the office?
I would definitely wear colour. I feel like a fun coloured suit or coloured shirt, that kind of thing. I wouldn't probably opt for like bright red or purple, but something more muted. Purple, don't know where that came from. I don't think I've ever worn purple.
You've been watching The Apprentice recently. That's the kind of outfit they like to wear on The Apprentice. Like.
But yeah, I think like darker tones, earthier tones look really gorgeous. How about you?
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think, the more muted tones mixed with neutrals.
Yeah, totally.
Mixed with navy and black. That's kind of a good route. But just going back to The Apprentice, I think they've had quite a lot of kind of backlash on it's quite traditional what the girls are wearing in particular. And I think a lot of people are kind of saying they should be dressing a bit more kind of modern, modern women in the office.
Yeah. It's almost like a uniform for them. You don't know if they've actually been told, especially the women are always in sort of very bright colours, or like a dress maybe with a matching blazer or quite.
And I think it's like the length of things as well. Yeah. Like I wouldn't opt for kind of a shin length work dress, but if you bring it down to like a maxi skirt or something like that, I think that can just make it look a bit cooler as well.
Yeah. And then the Evening Standard had a piece, it's I really enjoyed it, it's called Reasons to Love London in 2023, from Quidditch to Zadie Smith to the Coronation. So lots of reasons, you know, to be, you know, enjoying the capital as it is. I mean, it's talking about everything from like Saka being, you know, the star of Arsenal at such a young age, and, you know, everyone being thrilled for him after it was the Euros, wasn't it? When they all had to take those penalties.
My boys are obsessed with him.
Are they?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he's just such a great role
and
model,
he's
though,
so
isn't
sweet.
he?
Yeah, he seems really sweet.
He's 18 years old?
Yeah.
Is
he actually? That is wild.
Yeah.
And apparently he's very clever as well.
Didn't he get 5 A level?
Yeah,
5 A's at A level.
Yeah, and A stars.
Yeah.
Good for him.
I think, yeah, as a role model, he's...
That's
you know,
incredible.
I saw someone saying yesterday on Twitter, like, oh, he's not just like one of the best Premier League players for his age. He's sort of up there, you know,
Amazing.
out of everybody. So, yeah. Arsenal, sorry if you're Spurs fans, we know Arsenal's Saka is one of the reasons to love London this year. But yeah, they've got all sorts on here from... Paul Mescal is here and he's single.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, did you not? Him and Phoebe Bridgers have separated.
I didn't know that.
I'm so behind.
As of a few weeks ago, but I think people are like getting excited, perhaps. I don't know, you know, for whatever reason, because he's in a streetcar named Desire and in the Mitre Theatre at the moment. So I think people are like, oh, Paul's in London and he's single at the moment.
Interesting.
So hopefully he's not getting harassed at the stage door. But everyone, well, this feature says it's pretty certain he'll find his next partner by picking out a twinkly-eyed ES reader from the audience, surely.
Imagine. What a great story that would be.
Didn't he meet Phoebe Bridgers on like an Instagram live or something?
Exactly. They were both
God.
fan
Well,
of
you
each
never know,
other's
guys.
works. Exactly. So
I can't really see them together. I don't know why. I just don't.
Well, they're not
Well,
anymore.
they're not, so
Not
yeah,
anymore.
clearly,
Yeah.
well, I think it was together maybe 3 years, so they probably give
wow, that's some time.
transatlantic
I feel like they were engaged as well,
relationship.
no?
Oh,
There's definitely. She's also been spotted with Bo Burnham, that comedian, at the airport, and people were very upset about that because it meant that it was officially over with Paul. But anyway, so that's one of the reasons London's great, and also I felt like you'd like this, Sherry. As of May, you can now take a sleeper train to Berlin.
Oh, I love
I think
that.
it's such a cool thing.
Oh, that's very cool.
So for techno fans, this could be the revival of their youth and the end of their careers. For everyone else, it's just a nice, easy weekend away opportunity to a very cool city.
I love that. Like, go to Berlin, go out all day and night, and then just get on the train
come
again.
back. Yeah.
Perfect. Arrive back in London at 7 a.m. Go straight to work.
Legend.
Nice. But yeah, what have you guys got anything fun planned in London for the next few months?
I really want to get tickets for the Layman trilogy.
Oh, me too. It's on my list.
I hope we need to get them before everyone buys
Yes,
them after
yes,
listening
yes.
to this. But I remember hearing such amazing things about that a few years ago, and it's back, so that's very much on my list.
It's a theatre show about the Lehman Brothers,
Yes.
and I think it's 3.5 hours long, isn't it, with a few intervals.
Oh, interesting. I don't know as much detail as
yeah,
that.
it's long, but it's in 3 acts, and they're playing different generations of the Lehman Brothers.
And it's
who have
all,
financed.
it's just 3 men on stage
Yeah.
in 3 different rooms. I know that. So yeah,
the
that's
3
definitely on my
generations
list.
of the financial dynasty. But yeah, it's meant to be incredible. It won all the awards in Broadway. It won loads when it was at the National Theatre a few years ago.
And
so, yeah,
I
that's
want
on
to
my
go and
list.
see the Cézanne exhibition at the Tate Modern.
Yes, that's on my list as well. Sherry?
The Museum of Childhood, which used to be in Bethnal Green.
Yes.
That's one of my favourite museums when I was younger.
So nice. Yeah.
It's so nice. But anyway, that's closed, and then they're rebranding it as the Young V&A.
Oh,
So
cool.
yeah, again, that's to open later this year. So those are 2 things to look out for. Again, like a childhood museum, but I guess it'll be a bit more. The old one felt a little bit old, and it could do like an update. So it'll be like
an upgrade.
exactly 2.0. So I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to going to that with. I was going to say some children. I don't know any children.
But I think the joy, you can go if you're a parent with kids, but I think
Yeah.
also you can just go and sort of relive your own childhood a bit. So
Exactly,
it doesn't
yeah.
strictly have to be, you have to borrow a nephew or anything like that to go.
Yeah, exactly.
Sherry?
Anything on
Oh,
your
yes,
list?
cool. Yes, I've got a few things. One of them, Lehman Brothers, but
Yeah.
I've also got tickets for A Little Life, which is the devastating book, but it's been turned into a play. So I don't know why I'm going to see it because the book killed me. So I think seeing it live on stage is going to be horrendously traumatic, but I was just like, no, it's one of the best things I've ever read, so I really want to see that on stage. And then I haven't booked tickets yet, but the Japanese artist Yayoi
Yes,
Kusama
I've been
is
to
one of my
that.
favourites. But no, she's got a new huge immersive thing opening in Manchester in the summer.
cool.
This new museum called The Factory that's opening, and I just
Amazing.
think, any other of her sort of immersive things that they've got. I think you can finally get tickets to go to the Tate Modern now, sort of, because it's been on for a year or so, but well worth doing.
I had
if
to
you
buy
haven't
tickets
done.
3 times in the end.
Oh, me and my
gosh.
friends were still in the ticket queue the 4th time around at 2 a.m. Just
Oh my
wow, we
gosh.
want to go, and then eventually managed to get there quite quickly.
I went to Paris a few weeks ago, and you know how there's the big Yayoi Kusama Louis Vuitton collaboration happening at the moment?
Well, there's one at Harrods as well.
Yeah. But the one in Paris, it literally has a basically Yayoi Kusama robot in the window, and it is so creepy.
Yeah, I'm loving it though. Just
Yeah, and they've got the dots all over Harrods. I feel like it must be such fun to be whoever manages the Harrods exterior displays.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
a
there
great
is
job.
a robot in
I know.
Harrods as well.
Yeah, there
Yeah,
is.
it is, but
Yeah.
it's not as realistic.
Oh, it's not.
Yeah.
I have seen that one as well, but this one is terrifyingly creepy. I think, is she alive?
She is. Yeah. So I think you meant the robot.
No, sorry, not the robot. I meant her herself. But I was like,
yeah.
my mum was literally like, "Is that her in the window?" I was like, "No."
Yeah, she's in her 80s and
Yes,
still
I think she's
creating
in
great
a.
art.
I think she's in a home.
Is she?
Yes,
She's
I
still
believe
very
so.
much.
Yeah.
She doesn't create the sculptures and things
Yes.
anymore, but she's very much still artistically driving.
Yeah,
it.
that's so cool.
I love her. But yeah, no, basically, short story. There's loads of really
There
good
really
things going on
is.
in London.
Yeah.
And the coronation. Did you see the agenda came out yesterday?
Oh yes, so he's apparently not going to be dressed as formally as
interesting.
one might expect.
Yeah.
But it's been sort of described quite vaguely, so I don't know what that
So
actually means.
I think the coronation's happening on the Saturday,
Yeah.
and then on the Sunday, like street parties are encouraged, and there's
Yeah.
the concert at Windsor Castle,
Of
and then on
course.
the Monday he's creating this thing called like the Great Volunteer Day.
Yes, I did see that.
So I think he's encouraging everyone to get involved in volunteering on the bank holiday, which is quite cool.
That's
quite
really
a good
cool.
thing to do.
Something
If
a bit
every-
different.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
everyone's off work anyway, you might as well.
It's like we get 3 May bank holidays.
I mean, thank you very much for that alone. Can't wait.
Right, we've got some good fashion questions that people sent in. We'll do some quick fire ones for you two. So first up, smart wool coat recommendations. Have either of you got any good places to shop for, if not specific coats?
Well, I know you've mentioned it before, but the Frankie shop just has some really good, thick, nice quality, like really nice length and shape coats. I mean, they're not for everyone because they are quite oversized, but that's a good place.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to add to that and say Marcella London, which is like similar vibe. They've got really lovely ones. And Bowden, actually. I've got a great wool coat from Bowden, but I sized up to, I think, like an 18 or something, which is a few sizes bigger than I'd usually wear, just to get the more kind of slouchy, oversized vibe.
I was going to ask about that. Do you think with coats in general, or especially sort of winter ones, it's a good idea to kind of go bigger?
I
Yes,
think
I
so,
definitely
yeah.
would.
Because you wear so many layers, so it's just nice. And I just think it falls nicer.
Definitely. It just looks ultra chic.
So there's nothing worse than trying to get a big woolly jumpy
Yeah.
arm
Yeah.
and really
so
short
true.
holes. So yeah. Somebody has asked, is it better to invest in solid jewellery or go for cheaper brands? What do you guys think? I can see some.
I would personally say there's a good middle ground. Like I like most of my, okay, I've got a mix on, but I would say lots of my jewellery is like gold vermeil, which is where it's made out of sterling silver usually, and there's then a gold coating. And places, it's like what Monica Vinader does.
Yeah.
I think like Daphine,
Misoma.
exactly. And actually Monica Vinader are amazing because it does wear down. It's obviously not like pure gold. Monica Vinader, I went in with a necklace I'd had for a few years. I think even this one that I'm wearing, and just like a chain. And I'd literally not taken it off, and they just gave me a brand new one then and there because they can just take the other one and re-vermeil it. So I feel like somewhere that allows you to refresh your jewellery, but it's obviously a cheaper price point than if you went for solid gold.
Good sustainability angle from
Yeah,
that
definitely.
as
Yeah,
well.
it's really good. They're really, really good at that. But I love Daphine as well. I think their jewellery's gorgeous.
Have you got an aura ring on?
I do have an aura ring.
How long have you had that for?
I have had it for nearly a year now. I was saying to Emma earlier that I'm addicted to it. It's a smart ring, so it's basically like wearable tech. It's basically like having an Apple Watch on your finger, obviously without a screen or anything. If anyone's watching,
I was going to say
it
no,
looks
but
like this.
It looks very cheap.
I know. I wouldn't have really guessed.
I would
that
say
was
it
a
doesn't
smart
really match
ring.
my other jewellery because the gold's not the same. It's made out of steel, I think.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't notice
No,
that.
no,
I think
it's got a
maybe
few
you just
different
notice
Yeah,
ones.
it.
exactly. And it tracks steps, sleep, heart rate. It's really fascinating. Like it gives you a readiness score every day as well. So even if you've slept well that night, but your heart rate's been a bit elevated for the last few days, it will say, it's time to slow down, etc. Or I'll be sitting there scrolling on my phone. It's like, do you think it's time to stand up now? So I really like it. I think it's really cool. The sleep stats are amazing, and it tells you, your deep sleep, your REM sleep, your light sleep, etc., your optimal time to go to bed. So if you're into wearable tech and kind of tracking those things, but you don't want to wear a chunky watch, which I didn't want, highly recommend.
Can I ask a technical
cool.
question?
Of course you can.
How do you charge it and when do you charge it?
Good
Because I've got an
question.
Apple Watch, but
Yeah.
I charge mine overnight, but then that means that I can't
So because
track
it's so
sleep.
tiny, it doesn't require charging for very long. So you have they're all sized, obviously, because they're rings. So you have a charger that's your size. So for example, I went on holiday with someone that had an Oura Ring. They may not have the same size, so I would still need to bring my own charger. It's not like you can just share like iPhones, etc. But I just get into bed, read for like 20 minutes and just have it on charge and then pop the ring back on, and it's probably charged about 50% in that time. But yeah, it really doesn't need that long to charge, and yeah, I love it.
Amazing. Sorry, Emma, back to your jewellery that's not tech.
So similarly, mine's all kind of that mid-range.
Yes.
I think like it's a bit of investment, but it's not, crazy. And it's, I mean, all this stuff that I've got, I mean, this is Masoma.
That's so nice.
Yeah.
Really cool.
And, it doesn't, well, mine hasn't tarnished. And I've also got quite a lot of Laura Lombardi, which has lasted really well. So I think if you do go down the more high street route, then you might find things start to tarnish. So I would be more on the side of investing, I think.
Yeah.
Slightly.
One brand that's really good for that is Majuri, which is where this kind of croissant ring is from. That's solid gold, but it was like 300 quid versus somewhere else, so it'd probably be double, triple that. And they do really well priced jewelry. I think they've got a shop in London now, actually. It's a US or Canadian brand, and they try and get, it's kind of like a beauty pie vibe, as in they're trying to be closer to the actual cost price.
Oh, clever.
So yeah, would recommend.
No, thank you. We'll put all the links below in the show notes as well, so you can click through and buy those. And then finally, from some of our questions, I thought this quite interesting, and perhaps you've got a good take on it. But how do you not feel envious of others on Instagram? This is for everyone.
Okay, so I think you have to curate who you follow really closely. For example, for me, I wouldn't follow anyone who is doing like ultra luxury, I guess, influencing, because that's just not what I'm particularly interested in.
I think curating is a great shout, and if someone's not making you feel good, like mute. I think that's what the mute tool's really good at. You don't have to fully unfollow them. I think it's a very natural reaction, but also I'm going to be really cheesy here and go back to my initial recommendation of the abundance thing, because I think it's also about remembering or trying to focus on the fact that there's like enough to go around, and just because one person has it doesn't mean that you can't have it. I think there's, in like Roxy Nafusa's book, she talks about turning envy into inspiration, and I think just knowing that it's not mutually exclusive. Like if there's something that you really want, then there's no reason that because someone else has it you can't.
No, I think that's really
so
good.
true.
And I don't think that all the time, but that is something that I try to focus on.
No, I think that's really good advice.
That's true.
Anything else to add?
I also think when you're looking at these posts, you have to remember that they are kind of creating it. So it's not real, and they're, it's creating content. So it might look like they're having a gorgeous time on a beach, but actually they're working and doing X, Y, and Z behind the scenes. So obviously, I think that's important to keep in mind.
Yeah, I think that's
Definitely.
so true. Perhaps, especially with, travel and, being sent nice clothes or things like that. I think they want to go to keep the clothes. There are so many different ways to look at it. And be like, you can be, like you say, be happy for someone and pleased and enjoy and engage with their content, while also knowing that, it's their job. It's, something to inspire the rest of us, rather than make everyone sort of secretly hate them, because
Exactly.
you can't get that from yourselves. But I think it looks like the mute button. If
mute
all
button.
else
That's a great
fails, reach for the mute button. And then finally, we've got 2 questions from the SheerLuxe community, which you can find online. First up, India, you're very well placed for this. Ski wear. Someone's asking, where's a good place to buy ski wear?
Okay, I feel like I'm an expert on this now. Okay, I would say that renting it is actually a great option. I came back from skiing on Thursday night. By Friday morning, all of the ski gear was out of my flat, which was great because I don't have a huge amount of storage space. Her is fabulous. They've got loads of great ski wear. I actually rented my helmet and goggles from like Selfridges and ski jumper from Flannels. So it's not just like peer to peer. There's managed stuff as well. Blanco as well, which is BLANQO. That is a great ski wear hire option as well. They do really gorgeous, really warm onesies. I didn't actually get one, but lots of the girls on the trip had them and they looked super chic. I think they're a French brand that they loan out, and I think it's about 60 quid for a week or something, which I feel like is a good price. And the
really
ski suits
good.
are like £500-600.
So
So
that's like traditionally, you have had to buy them, and maybe you're only going to go once every few years.
exactly,
Spend
totally, and it's bulky as well, so it's nice just to be able to
Get rid.
And I would highly recommend Uniqlo for heat tech. I just went and did a heat tech haul basically, so that's great for thermals, and I'm wearing those a lot back at home as well.
Yeah, I was going to say I need to get some heat tech just for London.
Definitely.
Just for here.
Yeah. And then I borrowed some Perfect Moment pieces, which is a very cool ski wear brand. They're quite out there, I would say. Like I had like a houndstooth set and like a white all-in-one. So if you want to go for more of the fashion end of the spectrum, then Perfect Moment's really cool. You can buy that obviously, but also there's lots to rent on her as well.
Oh, great advice. Have you got any good tips, Emma? I know we've got a high street or an affordable ski wear piece coming up.
Yeah, well, the high
Breslau
street is just, caught up so much with ski wear. Like, I don't think a few years ago they wouldn't even have considered that.
No.
But H&M, Zara, Uniqlo, all those places.
I think Topshop actually. Topshop on
Topshop,
ASOS. Their SNO snow range is always really good.
Yeah.
And Free People's got a great range of stuff as well.
Yeah. And I think the fabrics, and the designs, they're really of top quality. So it's definitely look on the high street before you might invest in more expensive options.
Oh yeah, it sounds like there's never been more choice, really.
Yeah,
definitely.
And it seems like from what I've seen, everyone's just having more fun with what they're wearing now. You don't just have to wear a really chic white suit, which obviously always looks great, but you can experiment a bit and have some fun on the slopes.
And balaclavas as well.
And of course,
cozy.
And then finally, someone's asking for places to stay for a weekend in the Cotswolds. Sherri, I feel you'll be good at this one.
I think if you want to go ultra luxury, time is obviously up there. You can't really go wrong. It's a beautiful hotels, spa, food offering is amazing. And then at the slightly more affordable end, the Double Red Duke, which is a pub with rooms, has incredible interiors. You might have seen it on Instagram. They've got the umbrellas outside with like the red and white stripes.
So pretty.
Again, the food offering there is great, and they've got lovely boutique rooms that start from about 125, so really
great.
affordable.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's top choice, I think.
No, I do think the Cotswolds quite good, or especially good at like pubs with rooms. There's the Wild Rabbit, isn't there, and the Swan at Southrop as well, which are got that sort of boutique hotel vibe. But then that downstairs you can have an epic roast before going home.
So true. The Delsford cottages. I think they built more cottages this year as well. So that's a good option. The Rectory as well. I think that's there.
Really nice.
And Artist Residence. They've got a property in Oxfordshire as well.
Oh, of course, yeah, they do.
yeah.
They do.
I think I need to try some new
Branch
places.
out, yeah,
Look
it's
on the
tricky.
community, there'll be lots of read recommendations.
I think there's the
definitely.
whole, I can't remember what the name of the estate is, but where like the Fish, Foxhill Manor, Dormy House.
Oh, of course, yeah.
There's that group of hotels as well.
They're quite affordable as well, aren't they? The Fish,
Yeah, I think the Fish is the most
especially,
affordable.
if you were looking for
And then I think Foxhill Manor's at the top end.
And yeah.
Oh, good weddings there as well, I think.
Yeah, I imagine so.
Yeah, great part of the world. Well, thank you ever so much, all three of you, and thank you for watching and listening. If you've got any questions you'd like to send us, please do email us at podcast@SheerLuxe.com. We love hearing from you, and please don't forget to rate, review, subscribe, and tell your friends. We'll see you next time. Goodbye.